Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, Swamp Swimmer, and with me here is someone a little new. It's Tyresia. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Yeah. Kenyon, big pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, so feel good. It feels really good. And we enjoyed the beautiful game a few hours ago. So
Yeah.
Can't wait. Yeah.
I think you should be extremely honored. This will be the first Old World battle report on the channel. So high honors.
Yeah. I'm super excited. So thanks, Kenyon. What can I say? To be honest, I'm so happy that GW brought back Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I'm so happy.
It's back.
Yeah, it's back. It's finally back. And I actually started just a few things on me. And I started playing Warhammer back in 2003, I think. I just graduated from high school, and I said, why not start with that? And so I jumped right into 6th edition, and that was amazing. I fell in love with the game, started playing with my friends, set up a club, then we were going around playing tournaments, having a great fun, and then I moved to the States, and GW killed Warhammer Fantasy, and I actually started playing 9th Age.
Yeah.
And by the opinion, I loved your video, the last one you did a few days ago on 9th Age and Warhammer the Old World. I found it super interesting, and I could really find myself in that. So I started playing 9th Age a little bit, then COVID, all of that. And then, GW brought back Warhammer the Old World. So here I am, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, and we actually went to a tournament together. We went to Nova Open.
Yeah,
which was a blast. We traveled there together from New York down to DC. Yeah, this is just exciting. All these people, exactly like you, that were playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles before, maybe took a break, maybe went to 9th Age, maybe to another game. All these people are just coming back to Square Base Warhammer, and it's a blast. But
yeah,
let's with no further ado, let's jump into the battle report. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So, our first battle report, we have to. I had to go back to my original army, and had to go with the Lizardmen. Now, the question for you: have you always played Tomb Kings? Has that always been your army?
No, I actually started with Warriors of Chaos back in 6th edition.
Of course you did.
And then, I know. I feel ashamed. And then I moved to Demons, Demons of Chaos. And then when 9th Age happened, I kept the Demons. And then with Old World, and meanwhile, I started building up a Tomb King army. But it was never really, I was never really into them in 9th Age, and then I saw that basically they were the poster army of Warhammer Old World, and I was like, probably it's the right moment to jump on it.
They're the hot army. They're the hot army. Ride that wave.
Yeah. Gotta be honest, they're strong. They're very well covered from all angles. I was always in love with the Egyptian theme, so I was just like, okay,
That's
is my call.
Yeah, the whole ancient Egyptian feel with the undead is so classic. The classic movies like The Mummy, all that stuff. Can't go wrong.
Right.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. So
but basically,
when I picked up Tomb Kings, yeah.
But we are another tournament. I'm going to announce it here right now. We are going to the Las Vegas Open in January. Very exciting.
Yes,
LVO, baby, 2025. And just a few days ago, I think the tournament pack dropped. So from this point forward, we're going to do 2,000 point armies. And with their comp package, which maybe we'll go over in a whole other video. But these two armies follow the comp. And we did we rolled up one of the scenarios. We did Breaking Point for this one. So Las Vegas Open, Las Vegas. I'm gonna play some blackjack and then roll some dice. It's gonna be amazing.
Gotta be honest. I'll tell you one thing. When I started playing Warhammer in Italy, because I didn't mention, but I think it's pretty obvious. I'm from Italy. Like, my accent is still there. 8 years in the States, but
I was thinking of introducing you as the Italian stallion, but I'm like, no, I can't do it.
No, don't do that to me, please. Like, let's not set the expectation that high, right? But since I was in Italy playing, like, we always heard about this huge Las Vegas Open convention with all games, big tables, tons of people. So now I'm like super excited. Gotta be honest, I had to fight a little fight with my wife, to get the pass, but I did it. You gotta
cash in some brownie points,
Oh yes, absolutely. So we're going, and yes, so can be more excited about that too. Already moved
the
my
last
friends.
time, I think literally the last time I was in Vegas, I think so. I was there for the last Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th edition Masters.
Oh my
I was there. It was pretty cool. I stole the t-shirt. I might bring the t-shirt with me and show it off. But
I'm imagining like 100 people playing the tournament, I guess.
It was the middle of end time, so it was a little bit weird. People were leaving the game. Nonetheless, we're not here to talk about 8th edition. We're here to talk about the old world. Okay, let's talk about the lists. I'm going to go first here. My good old Lizardmen. So I can see the writing on the wall. I know the Lizardmen are a legacy army. Their meta is not in the best spot ever, but I wanted to throw something out there a little different, not just running the old blood characters. I didn't want to do the big monsters or anything. I went for the Skink Cloud. I'm trying the Skink Cloud. Can it work in the old world? I don't know, but we'll see. I have one character as the Slan, running Elementalism. That's pretty solid. But then I've got the Mandatory Saurus Warriors. The rest of core is filled up with all Skink Skirmishers. 6 times 10 Skink Skirmishing with the Poison Javelins.
Yeah.
Then I love these Bastillodons. They're like basically like mini monsters, but they have the really strong bounce spell on them, which is solar light. I don't remember what the name of the bounce spell is, but it's solar laser beams.
Yes, that's what you called it during the game. It was like, that's the laser. Yeah.
The laser. So it's a bounce spell, power level 2, 9+ to cast, 24-inch range, which is like really good for a bounce spell, and 3d3 strength 5 AP2 hits. So I feel like it's strong as long as I keep it away from your wizard, out of your wizard's dispel bubble. That's the plan. I don't know. I've got 2 units of 4 Kroxigors. I think Kroxigors are I think great weapons in this game are very strong, period.
You hit me hard with those at some point, remember. So yeah.
And then lastly, a little Troglodon, because I love the Arcane Vassal special rule where the Slan can cast spells through other wizards in the army, kind of basically increasing their range through another model. So I wanted to try it out. So that's my list.
Yeah.
I think the main strategy with this list, and thinking about when I was putting this list together, I was thinking mainly about strategy and mainly about meta, and about people are running big character mounts running around the board flying. So I think my big strategy is hit up. First thing to do is Slan any character mount that runs out there. Hit him with the what's the spell that's -2 armor?
Plague of Rust.
Plague of Rust. Hit him with Plague of Rust. Swarm the skinks with javelins. Poison them as much as I can, and then from the edge of the board, hit them with the laser beams from the Bastillodons. That's my plan, and basically it comes down to if I can shoot off those big characters off the board in the early turns. That's how it works in my head. What do you think?
Yeah, so first of all, I gotta say, the build of this army is extremely solid. as you said. And in fairness, I kind of underrated it a little bit at the beginning. So remember when at some point I moved my dragon and you were like, well, I'm gonna go for the dragon, and I was like, I don't think he can. But then I realized what was the combo behind it. So those bounce spells you said, because at the end of the day, it's AP2 with my army against my army. It's basically no armor. It's strength 5, so you're gonna actually kind of wound like nicely. Plague of Rust. So even if I have armor, you're gonna basically wipe it out. And then a lot of poison javelins, a lot of poison stuff that's coming at me. And in fairness, I think it's a nice build. It's a nice combo. Those 6 units of skins are just a lot, so you cannot deal with all of them actually. Some of them, yes, you will, but some others will move around. They're skirmishers, so they're pretty maneuverable, you know. And those Droxigors, they hit hard.
They hit hard.
Yeah,
and it's a small footage, like a small front edge of the unit, and that's pumping out 3 times 4, 12 plus champions, 13 attacks. Yeah. Hitting on 4s usually, but strength 7, AP
strength
2.
7, yes, it's pretty solid. Even against big monsters, you know, you'll get to wound, and you'll most likely, you know, basically don't give him armor save, or kind of just maybe a 6 up. And so they're dangerous, right? They're dangerous. So I think I see now the idea behind, and I think it's a good build. Hey, let's be honest. Like the PDF for the Lizardmen, it's a little under par. So I get it. It's not easy. So you really have to try hard, you know, to get something out of it. But now we see it. I mean, and we will go through the report. There had been a couple of moments, right, during the game.
But before we get there, we got to go over your list.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, here we go. The good old Tomb Kings.
Yes,
go through your list. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah. So basically, I was playing a Tomb King on Dragon. Why not? With the Armor of Ages. So basically,
it's like
every successful wound you reroll. Very, very basic with great weapon. Just want to make sure that I have some AP right there. And a ward save 5 up because I really need it. Then another dragon. Sorry for that. So the big wizard, like the Lich Priest, level 4 with illusion. I usually play necromancy, but this time I wanted to try to be a little bit more aggressive. So I kind of set it up to be more dragged so that I could move forward, using illusion, which basically blocks the other one with column of crystals, the mirage. So I just wanted to give it like a different twist. Then I had 2 stalkers, like the ones are coming out from below, and are shooting. Some archers, 12 archers, nothing crazy. A big unit of chariots, 18 wounds. I needed an anvil right in the middle, just to make sure that I can, you know, hold and then countercharge when needed. And then 2 scorpions, pretty easy. 1 necrosphinx, 1 casket. And since I have illusion, I was like, I need something for -1 leadership. Otherwise, with necromancy, the other one's gonna basically test his leadership with no mods. So I really needed something to lower your leadership. So that's why I put in a screaming skull catapult with the foe of the enemies. So basically, you get the -1 within 2 distance of when the blow lands. So that was really the idea behind the list. Not giving away too many points, and really having like a solid center and like 3 big monsters that could go together to push with pressure. And when needed, I just block you with the magic, like mainly the column of crystal, which was the whole idea, right?
Yeah. That combo with the extra minus leadership against is so strong against certain armies, but then you walk up against another undead army or a demon army, and it's useless. So it's like it's a really hard choice. But against me, it's great. I think the double dragon. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I think it's a great choice because the both two characters on a dragon is like so strong. It's so good. It's really hard to kill those guys because they can heal themselves so easily. Do you think in the Las Vegas Open, are we going to see this kind of list?
Yes. My expectation is there will be a lot of monsters. I'm not necessarily sure that it's the perfect build, but trust me, everybody will go for big monsters. So I'm expecting to see a lot of double dragons, Warpfire Dragon, and a Chaos Dragon for Chaos Warriors. I'm seeing it already 2-star dragons for High Elves, perhaps 2 dragons for Dark Elves. If they have the points, I have to check, but I'm pretty sure they will bring it. At least like a couple of units of Pegasus Knights.
Of course, we're going to see some Peg Knights. Come on now.
Yeah. Everybody, a lot of Tomb Kings will have the dragon. Yeah. So that's why I really wanted to have as many as I can. And I'm having the casket because if I find one and I don't have anything really to deal with them, yes, the Necrosphinx is good, but it's initiative 1. So if I don't get that, Monster Slayer blow, well, then what do I do? Because if I don't have 2 dragons and I have like maybe a casket that I can soften it a little bit before it gets there, what am I gonna do, right? So that's my point. That's my expectation for LVO. And to be honest, and I'll end up on this. I just went through the list of a couple of Italian tournaments that just happened. 2,000 points, like no limits, like 7 dragons in the first 4 spots. So, happening. I see that coming.
I can see it coming too. Like you can see it from a mile away. I hear some other people saying like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe it's over." No, it's happening.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, all right. So let's jump into the actual game. How about that?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So here's deployment. My list, like a far too many drops. So also on these these are the maps from the actual Las Vegas LVO tournament pack. So they're like perfectly mirrored, so it doesn't really matter which side of the table are, which is kind of interesting. I'm to the south, you're to the north. You dropped basically everything when I had dropped like basically all my skinks, and then I dropped everything after that. We rolled to go first, and I think you rolled a 1, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a chance to beat his to beat it, and I rolled a 1 myself, and it was very sad.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
But basically, all right, so I had dropped basically my skink screen, like the 4 units of skinks in the middle of the board. And then you basically dropped everything. What was your thought process dropping kind of everything in the center like that?
Really, the thing, as you said, you have too many drops. So it was like the stuff that I'm interested in, I won't see it where he places it. So I was like, okay, let's just be like neutral. And I was always going to put my chariots in the middle, as I said, because I just want to hold the table. And if need be, I want to be able to do a little line with those chariots fixing line. So I was like, let's just place them in the center, having the 2 monsters, like 1 dragon on the side. And then usually my choice is to put the Necrosphinx right next to the mage, because actually the mage is the one that is a little bit more fragile, let's say, because they have only 8 wounds, toughness 5, and really, at the end of the day, weapon skill 3, it's a wizard. So you need a little help, a little support.
It's still strong, though. It's still strong.
It is.
Yeah.
And with illusion and the spectral doppelganger on, it's going to do 2d6 strength 5, AP 2 hits.
Spectral doppelganger is probably the best spell out there right now, I think.
It's really good.
Oof,
I gotta
it's so
be
good.
honest.
It's so good.
Really good. Yeah.
All right.
So
you drop everything in the center there, and then I get the opportunity to go wherever I want after that. I basically I was focusing on those Bastiladons, so I turtled to the right, away from your wizard, and within range of your general on the dragon, to hopefully, if you pushed him forward, just unload everything into him and hopefully kill him. That's the thought. So yeah, let's just get into the game. As we said before, you got round 1. This is you after movement, and you did it. You pushed forward. You pushed on me, which is I guess I should. I think that is the right move, right?
Well, my thought process was like, what options do I have? Either I push forward, or if I don't, I have to do the points from a distance. But I don't have a double casket. I don't have necromancy. So you kind of deployed, as you can see, like behind the hills, around the hills. So I was really like, what can I do? Right? So I was like, the only option is to push forward. Let's go. So basically, that's what I really did. I moved forward the chariots, I put the dragons on the side. And that's actually where I thought probably that you can kill my dragon in one turn. And that's why when you moved, I was like, okay, I see what he wants to do. And I was like, I just hope I wasn't too bold, to push that much. Because as you can see, you have all those kings right there. They seem far away, but they're not.
Yeah, because they have the great thing about the skinks is they have a 24-inch threat range. They can move 12, shoot 12.
Yeah.
And basically they can cover the whole, if they're in the center of the board like these 4 units are, and then I scouted the 2 on the right, they could all converge on one enemy model and just unload into it, which is that's the plan. But yeah, really that's I think that's really what my style of list comes down to, is if my opponent pushes on me or they don't. It's like that's really the big decision point in my list. It's like if they push on me, then I have to choose a target and I have to knock it down like immediately in order to get any close to winning the game. And you pushed, so we'll see what happens here. In your other shooting and magic phases, you do actually do some work. You kill one skink unit on the right, and you do 50% damage to one of the skinks in the center, and they actually fall back in good order a little bit. But
yeah. That was my because everything shoots in my army, so I was like, okay, let's try to make him test, so that I can push him a little bit away. And sorry, one other thing that I was thinking about on the dragons is I have the -1 to be hit because of the cloud of dust around those. But then and also you have to reroll to wound against my big dragon. But again, with poison, well, it's all about those 6s to wound. Right, that I can't really stop anyway. So that's the interesting combo here.
Yeah. So in my turn, bottom of 1. Woo, I can't talk right now. Bottom 1, I do exactly that. I push on you. Exactly. I put all my skinks that are still there into the dragon, and I make sure all 3 of my Bastiladons have sight of the dragon to shoot him. I mean, this is basically, I hate to admit it, like, I think a lot of games come down to big decision point turns, and this is almost the whole game right here in this turn, I think. Because at this point I'm thinking, if I kill your dragon, that's a bunch of points, that's your general, everything else in your army, the Necrosphinx is a little scary, but everything else I could stand up to with chaffing and then countercharging and more shooting.
Yeah, agree. That's the thing. So my plan was clear. I mean, I just put it there because I was like, okay, next turn I'm going to boost my movement with the ability of the Tomb King. Hopefully I'm gonna get maybe an 11-inch plus Swift Stride. So it's gonna put me at 20 inches potential charge. And I was like, okay, so and then I'm gonna go and push. But then when I saw the amount of arrows that I was about to get on my dragon, I was like, okay, I hope it doesn't make a lot of 6s, and I hope I'm gonna make a lot of saves. But unfortunately, hope is not a strategy. So you got me there. Like I was not really prepared.
Yeah, and then if my plan doesn't come to fruition and I don't kill him, I mean, the counterpoint to this argument is you have a free charge to basically anything in my army. I mean, that's why I set up on the right. Also, as I'm hiding the Slon, you can't charge the Slon because you can't see him because the hill's in the way. But everything else is almost a free charge, which is scary.
Yeah,
Scary.
and was also the bait, I think, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of put everything there, and you were like, okay, here I am. So come get me. And again, as you said, if I lose the king, well, then yes, I have the other dragon and I have the Necrosphinx, but then the entire, how can I say, the entire mood of the game changes because my centerpiece is gone and I don't have the hammer anymore. I have the anvil, but I don't have the hammer anymore. So I think, as you said, like at some point, this was the big decision, right?
Yeah.
For the game.
So let's see what happens after all of that. Okay, so this is the whole story, right? I have a power scroll. I know I really, really, really want to get off Plague of Rust. I throw my power scroll at it. I miscast. Ugh.
Yes.
Not a good start. I
1-1-2. 1-1-2 was your roll. Like, I was like, okay, that was pretty bad.
And then I put all the skinks into him. I put all the Bastillons into him. I put Gust of Wind into him. I do 0 wounds. I do 0 wounds.
Yeah,
it was rough. It was rough.
0. Yeah.
And this
no.
And this
I think you did 1 and then I healed or something.
No,
like it.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly enough to maybe kill him. Or to even if I would have done, he has 10 wounds, right? If I would have done like 6 or 7 or 8.
Sorry, 9 wounds. 9 wounds.
Oh yeah, 9 wounds. If I would have done 6 or 7, that would have maybe scared you off. You would have thought twice about charging, right?
At that point, it gets scary because either I charge and then my rolls are good and you don't get to swing back. Otherwise, if you do swing back, every time you roll dice, like I'm there trembling with my hand trembling, being like, I hope I'm gonna make that save. So yeah, you're right. I might have changed my plans for sure.
Yeah.
And Plague of Rust was a game changer, right? Because against those kings, since you actually have poison, for sure I would have chosen to get the 4-up armor, right? Instead of the Armor of Ages. Mm-hmm. So just to out down the potential wounds just with the armor, and then I have a 5-up and a 5-up. But without that, it would have been different because I wouldn't have saved that many because you actually did quite a good number of wounds, but I was completely off math with my saves. Like I saved like crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the dice weren't in my favor in this game, but this is really the downside to my list is like if I get unlucky in this one turn on these dice, if I get unlucky with these spells, if I get unlucky with these poison shots, my army collapses, my army folds.
True.
Because at the top of turn 2, you're sitting there with you have free range of where you want to charge. Like what at that point you were thinking, okay, where am I putting in the general on the dragon? Like where's he going? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was like, okay, so as you said, I don't see the big monster on the right. I don't see the slam. So I was just like, okay, so either I go for the Soros or I charge the Bastiladon on the right. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
next to the tree.
So what would actually put me in a better place? And then I thought about and I started asking you questions like, okay, so how many wounds? What's the save? So I realized that really, if I hit you there, it's gonna be tough for you to hold because I have a lot of attacks. I have between up and down, I have 9 attacks, strength 7 up, strength 6 down, AP 2, armor bane 1 with the guy, stomp. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go on the guy and then try to then reform / overrun and then pursue. So that was really my thing, and I was like, I need to get there quickly because otherwise it's going to be more shooting and I might not get lucky again next time.
and you do exactly that. You go into the Bastiladon and you to overrun into the Source Warriors. Yeah. And you charge the skinks in the center, and I just flee to draw you out to maybe get a charge with my my Kroxigors into the Necrosphinx. And the rest of these turns, that was the big discussion. That was the big turning point of the game. I think these rest of the turns we can go through a little fast. We can blow through these turns.
Right.
But here, exactly, you kill the Bastiladon. And the Bastiladon's a little bit of a discussion because if you don't do all 4 wounds, which odds-wise you should, I could easily stick because I'm stubborn.
Yeah. And those croc cigars were like there. You have 2 units. So I was like getting a little nervous because, once you do all the math, then you just want to make sure that the dice are supporting you. Because, as you said, it's like you do a bad roll and then you're in trouble. And I think this is something that in Old World is particularly stressed. Because like there are lots of situations, right? So it's either fall back in good order or give ground. What if I fail my leadership check and I don't hold him back? So there are a lot of push and pull with this game that were not necessarily there in the old fantasy battle system, as well as in the 9th Age. So it's not really you hold or you flee. It's like a lot more scenarios can happen, and your deployment was prudent and was like balanced. So it was like, if I don't break this guy, I don't kill this guy right now, he's not gonna break and flee, and then might be trouble. So the game was not done there, right? So, but yes, I made all the wounds, and then I was there on the Saurus Warriors.
Yeah. And then so my turn 2, I had to get the salon out of trouble, so I did the movement spell on the other side of the hill, because once you kill my Saurus, you can turn and face wherever you want and then charge in your turn. So there was no safe space for him. So he had to go up there. I pushed the swarm of skinks into the chariots. I actually get Plague of Rust off this time. I put the Croxigors into your Necrosphinx. I thought that was a good move. I thought I was going to do good there. And then I don't. You kill 2 guys because you have the killing blow, which is what really did me in. Yeah,
and again, killing blow is strong. It's a powerful weapon because it puts the opponent in a place where you start to second guess yourself, right? So, will I do it? Am I doing the right thing? He has killing blow, but you did it. And I gotta be honest, at the end of the day, the Necrosphinx does 5 attacks? I'm gonna hit you on 3s and then wound you on 3s, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't make those 6s and then you swing back, right? So it's strength 7, so you're gonna wound me on 3s. No armor save. I just get my regen, which is not gonna help me though.
In that combat, I did 4 wounds on you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But I did very good with the killing blows, and I think I killed 2 out of 4 just with the killing blows, and that was easy, right? Because I did 6, and then you hit me 4, but you lost, and I don't think did you fall back in good order? I think there.
Yeah, I did.
You did. So, but I got 4 wounds in, which means that my Necrosphinx is like, I mean, for as much as an undead can be dead, I'm also almost dead again, deader than death. So,
yeah, and my Skink Cloud this is where the Skink Cloud can actually shine. When Plague of Rust is up, I took off 2 bases of chariots, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Let's see here. This is your top of 3. You keep pushing in. You kill one. The funny story is, this is turn 3, and just 1 scorpion has shown up.
Yeah.
Of all your ambushers, nothing.
I was rolling 1-1-2, 2-2-1, and I was like, okay, these guys are sleeping under the sands. So,
sleeping, just taking a nap.
Guys, okay, try to do something, all right? So yeah, that was funny. But finally, one comes out, and it comes out close to my other dragon. Meanwhile, one Saurus, survives.
One guy here.
Yeah. So, and again, this is an
And you
interesting
felt
point
like,
in all
yeah,
work.
and you felt like you had to not pursue and turn around and then charge the croc scores, which is probably
Because
the right
again,
move.
look at, yeah, no, and you did a good move too. So you forced me, and this is how old world gets interesting, right? So you basically gave me the choice. Okay, you want to do this, the Saurus? Take the Saurus, but then it's gonna be a rear charge with those croc cigars that you see on the right. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm giving up the points. I'm leaving them on the table. I'm just turning back. I mean, my intent was really just protect my dragon because it can easily crumble in Combraz. And I was like, I'm not taking a rear charge. And I was like, okay, let me just like turn around, see what I do, how I do there, and that's it. So that was my idea there. And then I think I charged with the Necrosphinx, the other monster.
Yeah.
Um,
Which you had the Necrosphinx still has enough power to kill a Bastiladon, which is sad.
Yeah. I also have the Monster Slayer blow on that single attack, which is
So I'm not looking in good shape at this point. You blew through the Croxigors with your big dragon. I've only done 3. I think I did 3. I see the marker that says that he has 3 wounds on him. I think you healed 2 before that, so I think I did a total of 5 wounds to him out of the whole game. Oof.
Yeah.
But then bottom of 3, with my remaining skinks, I swarm your Necrosphinx, and hey, I kill something. I killed the Necrosphinx. Yes.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting because that's the way of the skinks, as you said. So those are the moments where they shine, because I have few wounds left. You have poison, plague of rust on. I have really no way to stop your slan because the guy was moving around.
But you do have a way to stop your slan. That's just to kill him. But
yes.
That's the next story.
Yes.
The casket got him.
I casket in. But yes, you got my Necrosphinx, and I think this is a glimpse of the play style with Lizardmen. It's just like I'm gonna do wounds here and there, and then when you're a little weakened, then I'm just gonna kill you off. Yes, so the slan was a set story. I
got the Necrosphinx, you got the slan this turn, and then the last thing of interest, I think in top of 4, that was a blurry picture, I had a charge with the Troglodon into your chariots, and he had 1 wound left, and I didn't realize the chariots could shoot to the side, and you stand and shot me to death. So humiliating.
Yeah, but it was actually very well positioned, and honestly, 3 chariots, shooting arrows on 5s and 6s.
A toughness 5 monster. Yeah, you're wounding on 6s. Yeah.
I remember what I said. I was like, I hope I don't do it because I don't deserve it. But that's Warhammer. That's what Warhammer does.
So
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we called it quits after 4 because I had no models up on the table, and that gives you a big old crushing victory against me. Congratulations. Cheers to you.
Thank you. Great game. Had a lot of fun.
It was a great game.
Very well played. Yeah.
2 questions I'd love to ask you to follow up to end this video. Question 1, do you feel like you should have played that game differently strategically? That's question 1. And then question 2 is, after this game, how do you feel about your list? Would you like to tweak it? Would you like to go a whole nother direction with the Tomb Kings? Would you like to go to another army? That's the 2 questions I have for you. You go ahead and answer, and then I'll answer for myself.
Yeah, so both questions are pretty on spot. So those are usually the 2 questions I ask myself after a game. So brilliant. No, I think in terms of the game itself, looking at the odds that I have with my army and with my units, as I said, I mean, unfortunately, there's a big gap between the 2 armies, and I'm like, I think I should really keep pushing because I really have the upper hand basically on every single combat that I can get into. Probably I would have kept going forward the 2 dragons way closer, because at some point they divided, and I think the 2 together are stronger because I can do combo charges, and I can also heal my other dragon more easily if I'm closer, and I don't have to fly the other dragon close to him. So I think that was a little bit of a misplay from my side. And I think I should have probably called from beneath the sand 1 scorpion a little earlier, rather than waiting for them to ambush.
Waiting to roll the dice,
yeah. Those were definitely 2 things. Now, when it comes to the other question, I would say no, I wouldn't change my army. So I would still play Tomb Kings for sure. So I'm gonna go to LVO with Tomb Kings.
But are you feeling good about the double dragon list?
Echo. That's the big question here. So I'm not sure this is the list that I would bring. It's definitely up, but I have a couple of other ideas. I might change the lore. I might change the setup of the rare choices. I might be potentially looking at a double casket with necromancy, which is another option that I have. Or I do something completely different with the core. But I don't know. I didn't nail it yet, so I don't know. But I think this list doesn't work, and if I don't do the double dragons, then I will need probably another combat unit that would help me, because I saved 200 points. I need something like, I don't know, maybe other snakes or ushaptis or something that I can really hold the table, based off also on the scenarios that we're gonna play. But Kenyon, you might be talking about that in another episode. I'll be there watching it.
No, don't worry. You're coming back to you're coming back to the channel. Don't you worry. So for me, I think I played my list right, but I wouldn't change of anything I really did in the game. But yeah, my 2 armies are Beastmen and Lizardmen since forever. Man, I really gotta start investigating the Beastmen. I think I'm gonna start rolling some different Beastmen lists, really start drilling down on there. In fact, if you're watching, anyone out there, and you have a Beastmen list that you love, hit me up with it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to test it out, and I'll give you credit. But I'd love to, yeah, I need to really start investigating the Beastmen. I've got a really beautifully painted Beastmen army, not by me, but by another person. And maybe that's what I'll be taking. I don't know. I think I definitely have some time to still investigate the Lizardmen. I think the Skink Cloud I think the Bastiladons are too swingy. The Bastiladons need to go. The Skink Poison, I think, is kind of strong, but the Bastiladons are, they're not dependable enough.
Yeah, my thing on the Bastiladon is like 4 wounds, not enough. They're too fragile. So you really risk to lose, maybe not all of them, but like a couple of them for sure. So I don't know too well the PDF. I think if you have other options like bigger monsters. I think
the other move is the big mount for the old blood. The is it Carnosaur? I'm confused. I'm confused with 9th Age names and the old world names. In 9th Age, it's the Alpha Carnosaur, but that's the big monster with the old blood on the top that does D3 wounds to flyers or other monsters. So that's
What's the downside of it?
It's I think it's impetuous. It's a glass cannon. Like it can hit really well, but it's not super tough. So I'll look into that. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Right.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me. We're definitely gonna play again, and you will be back on the channel. But you also have a YouTube channel that you do in Italian. Can you please tell us about that?
Yes. So thanks. First of all, Kenyon, big pleasure to play with you live. Big pleasure to be on your channel. I love it. I follow, and I am subscribed. So subscribe.
Thank you. Every subscriber is great.
Yeah. So yes, I do have a YouTube channel too. It's called Sun Tzu Secrets.
You have the shirt and everything.
Shirt and everything. So it's a YouTube channel for the old world in Italian. It's growing very nicely, pretty fast. And what can I say? We hopefully will become the most important YouTube channel for old world in Italy. And Kenyon, I know you don't speak Italian yet, but you'll get there. Exactly.
I've got the hand movement down. I've got this down.
Just do a little bit of this. If you have this, you have everything you need. So yes, the hand is correct. Like, let me do it. Like there you go. That's it. But yes, I would love to invite you on my channel too, so we can do something. We can do something in Italian maybe. I can do Italian and then we can talk in English. But it would be my pleasure to have you on my channel, on our channel too. And it has been amazing. So please check out my YouTube channel too. I'll put the link in the comments.
The link will be in right above on our link should pop up right now in our YouTube video.
Okay.
But yes, thank you for being on the channel. There's many more games in the future of us. This is going to be a long and winding road to the Las Vegas Open. We're going to test out a bunch of lists. I'm going to do as many games as I possibly can in the next month and a half, or basically. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, the usual stuff, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Ciao.